Hi, it's Son of the Honda Mäkinen. Happy 2011-ty, and I hope everybody had a great new year. So, about the videos that I'll be doing in the future, I'm gonna be doing some top 10s. I'm thinking about redoing my top 6 Star Wars movies list. Because when I made the original top 6 Star Wars movies list, there was one movie that I perhaps didn't quite give the appreciation that I should have, and this is why I'm thinking of redoing it. And in addition to redoing the top 6 Star Wars movies list, I'm thinking of making a follow-up video to it that deals with the 2 Ewok movies, Caravan of Courage and Battle for Endor. I'm also thinking of doing, for the first time in a long time, reviews on board and card games, sort of in the style of Board James, of course, the Angry Video Game Nerd's second character. But I've got bad news for anybody who saw my Lord of the Rings board game review, the review of this game. Unfortunately, the original video of it has been lost. I have not been able to find it, and I'm sorry, and it's a terrible waste, because I thought it was a pretty good video, and I don't have it on any of my discs, and I have no idea where it's ended up. So I might end up redoing this review of this game at some point. It's not going to be exactly like the original, which is terrible, but I'm thinking of doing more reviews on board and card games and things like that I find interesting. Okay, last year I showed some of the games that I got for Christmas. There really isn't much to show this year, but I did get 3 games on the Wii, and they are probably the 3 games that everybody's been talking about on the Wii, so I might as well bust them out, even though I don't really have much new to add to it. Donkey Kong Country returns, and this is something, of course, which I, as a big Donkey Kong Country fan, have been waiting for a long time. I have actually the 3 DKC games on my Wii right now, or in the SD card port. But anyway, I've been looking forward to a new Donkey Kong Country game for a really long time, and I'm happy Retro Studios made it. And so far, my impressions of it have been really good, except that my biggest complaint is that the game didn't really... Well, I'm not talking about game mechanics or anything like that. As far as characters and like that go, I'm kind of disappointed that there aren't more characters from the previous Donkey Kong Country games in this one, and I'm also kind of disappointed that the music is almost entirely recycled from the first game, which isn't bad because the first game had excellent music, but it just feels like Retro Studios didn't put enough effort in trying to make this one new and fresh from a presentation standpoint. But then again, it's the first Donkey Kong Country game since DK64. Well, not the first, but it has real 3D graphics and all that stuff. It's brilliant audio-visually. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but I'm feeling a little underwhelmed by certain things. I'm feeling that it's a little bit too much of a rehash of the same old, yet at the same time it does have new stuff, so I don't know. I'm a little conflicted about this one. I think it's a really good game, though. In fact, I'm willing to go so far as to say that this is actually even better than the original Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong Country 3. Not as good as DKC 2, but the fact that I think it's quite possibly the second best Donkey Kong Country game ever, the second best, is a huge compliment coming from me. One thing I'm a little concerned about, well, the thing is that, of course, it's a 2.5D platformer. The thing is, I've really been hoping for a new full-on true 3D Donkey Kong game ever since DK64, because DK64, not a bad game. I actually like it, and I put it on my top 10 Nintendo 64 games list, but I really wish that they would make a new true 3D Donkey Kong game like that. Because nowadays I think they would do a much better job of it, because there were all sorts of memory restriction things going on, and Railware wasn't able to make DK64 quite as awesome as the DKC games, but they still made a good game. So I'm wondering, 3D platformers, there's so many 3D platformers out there that are just, you know, marketing tools for movies and children's shows and stuff like that. We need to kind of bring the classic gaming series back into the current genre of platforming, which is the 3D platformer. But, you know, I'm not complaining about it. It just feels really weird that we're just going back to the 2D platformer, 2D platformers continuously. This next one I've been really looking forward to, Metroid Other M. And the reason I've been looking forward to this is that I've never been a big Metroid fan, or I wasn't a big Metroid fan until I played Metroid Prime 3. I fell in love with the play control, and I became very much involved. You know, it sucked me into Metroid basically, and I got the Metroid Trilogy package. Here's the thing: I've always thought that the Metroid games have never really had any good storylines to speak of. The games are about exploration and finding stuff and backtracking, which I hate. I hate backtracking in video games. And this is why I didn't like the other two Metroid Prime games as much as I liked number 3, because I felt there was more clearly a forward direction in that one. And although Metroid Prime 3 was pretty awesome, the thing that disappointed me about it was that it didn't have a good storyline. Metroid Other M is proving to be a great improvement over Metroid Prime 3 in this regard, but I'm now missing the gameplay of Metroid Prime 3, which was just awesome on the Wii. It was one of the best FPS games I've ever played, and I'm not a big FPS fan anyway, so it was that was a good thing. However, I can't say that the gameplay of this game is bad by any means. The thing is that you're supposed to play this with just the Wii mode, which is a good thing, in the NES configuration, so sideways. But then you're supposed to be pointing at it to go into the first-person view, and really, I think they should have stuck to, if they were going to make a 2D side-scroller Metroid, another 2D side-scroller Metroid, I think they should have just done that rather than keep switching back and forth between first and third person, because it doesn't perhaps work quite as well as they thought. But it's an awesome game, and presentation-wise, I think this is one of the most... This is probably the most awesome game graphically on the Wii right now. So if you've been underwhelmed by the graphical performance of the Wii, and I don't know why you should be, but if you want to see a truly impressive Wii game, this is the one to see. Okay, this next game, I honestly don't have much to say, because I really haven't played it all that much. I think it's a good game. Once again, it's another game that's presentation-wise really good, but I haven't played it at all really, because I've been so busy playing Donkey Kong Country, Metroid Other M, and doing other stuff that wasn't perhaps necessary, but, you know, might as well show it. Yes, I have it now. Epic Mickey. I'm not sure if I'm going to come back to this, I mean, as a video. I'm going to play it, definitely, because I did think that the gameplay was really good, and the graphics looked really nice for, for the 1 hour of gameplay that I've spent with this game. But, you know, it was pretty awesome. I didn't expect to get this game, which is why it's a bit of a shocker and why I wasn't so prepared to play it. But I think once I beat Donkey Kong Country Returns or Metroid Other M, whichever comes first, I think Donkey Kong, I think I'm gonna be I'm gonna get to this game. The thing is that I just recently started replaying The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess to kind of refresh my mind of it, and so I've got technically 3 different games all at the same time. And Sonic the Hedgehog Episode 1, I'm trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds in that one, so I'm actually pretty busy with games right now. And the sad thing about my game getting presents, well, the fact is I did not get a single game for the Xbox 360. I've been it's been just gathering dust for a while now, but I think I'll be getting Splatterhouse pretty soon for it. But like I said, I'm knee-deep in games right now, and I got other stuff to do, so... Well, here's another thing. It was actually supposed to come as a birthday present, but it got delayed, and it got delayed after Christmas, and it didn't arrive until after Christmas, I think. But I got this from a good friend of mine. She sent it to me. Mr. Ben. It's a British cartoon series from 1970, and when I say cartoon, I mean this is what I would call a clipmation. So it's paper-cut characters being moved, sort of stop-motion style. But it does have, like, bits and pieces of real animation in it. It's weird. It's kind of like those animated segments in Monty Python, except it's intended for children. And I have to say, for a children's cartoon, it's really good. Even though it has a slow pace, and it has a narrator, and there's not a lot of actual animation, it's actually, first of all, it's pretty sweet. It's just... just really sweet and charming and very British. And, you know, I kind of like it. The episodes aren't long. They're only 15. They're 15 minutes long, and there's about 14 of them. So, not much to say about this one. I've only seen 3 episodes so far, but I think this is the sort of stuff. If I don't feel like doing anything else, I can just sit down and watch it. It's really soothing. I did not get a new calendar this year as a Christmas present, which was a disappointment. But luckily, there was this magazine that had this calendar in the middle of it. So I always change the calendar in the background. So this one has all sorts of cute animals on it. Quite different from the Lord of the Rings and the cartoon sort of calendars that I've previously had. Look at the cute bunny. What will my next video be about? Well, I can give you a little hint that it has something to do with Bruce Dickinson. So Happy New Year to everybody again, and see you on the next video.